Rare was one of the greatest video game developers ever. They made a huge amount of great games that revolutionized the industry, but for years now, they seem to have lost their way. But with the release of Rare Replay, we could play some of their classics and cross our fingers that maybe, just maybe, they'll get back into making great games. So I made a list of the top 10 Rare games ever released. Now I know that this was a hard list to put together because they had a lot of great games, but there can only be 10.
Number 10.
Wizards and Warriors 2, Iron Sword. Wizards and Warriors was Rare's go-to series back in the day. Playing as Kuros, our hero ventured far up into the clouds, all the way down to the roots of the forest, fighting his way through the elements of the world. This game was just super fun and had one of my favorite soundtracks growing up. Plus, Fabio's on the cover. That Fabio, he's so manly. Fabio.
Number 9.
Donkey Kong 64. Now, this wasn't my ideal Donkey Kong, as I wanted to see more Donkey Kong Country elements into it, because it kind of felt like a Banjo Kazooie game, but the game, it was very good, and it made collectors and completionists drool all over this game. Plus, it had that rap. That rap. That rap.
Number 8.
Jet Force Gemini. Released on the N64 in 1999, this game took you to space to fight a dark insect army. Now Rare had mastered the first-person shooter, but they decided to try something different and went with a third-person shooter. And well, just like every genre that they go into, they mastered that as well. The audio, the sounds, the gameplay, just everything was crisp, and it just made this game stick out because of its original gameplay. Plus, you have an awesome dog.
Number 7.
Battletoads. It is insane to me that such a popular game hasn't had a sequel in over 20 years. How many times do we have to call GameStop? Like, seriously. This game was ridiculously hard, but the gameplay was so good that people just kept on playing it. This game may have single-handedly sold the Game Genie. Now let's go, everybody. Let's all go fail at Turbo Tubes.
Number 6.
Diddy Kong Racing. What happens when you combine Mario Kart with the exploration of Banjo Kazooie? Get this crazy ass game. This game may have not had the tracks of Mario Kart 64, but the concepts, the items, and the different vehicle types just made this easily one of the best racing games of all time. Even the boss races were great. You're gonna die, Whiz Pig!
Number 5.
Perfect Dark. Now Rare was on fire with the N64, which is why it blows my mind that Nintendo sold the 49% of the stock that they had in the company instead of buying a little bit more to get the plethora of IPs such as the first-person shooter Perfect Dark. It's just mind-boggling. But playing as Joanna Dark, you race against time to stop an alien war. You just can't get more epic than that. Plus, this game is critically acclaimed, and it was just nice to see these dark titles on a Nintendo system.
Number 4.
CONKER'S Bad Fur Day. What? Another 64 game? What can I say about this game that hasn't been already said? It's foul, it's crude, it's over the top, it's great. The mature content was definitely a risk, but it stuck out and it made Conker into an icon. Now let's see, you could fight with poo, you can pee on your enemies, you can squash some balls. Like, this game even had a really good multiplayer. It was literally the last great game that Rare made on its iconic run on the N64. The memories.
Number 3.
Donkey Kong Country 2. Donkey Kong Country was a fantastic game and one of Rare's most successful games. And its sequel, it took that formula and created a masterpiece. By far, this is the best Donkey Kong Country game and introduced some great mechanics, level design, and one of the best musical scores ever created. Now really, somebody needs to give that David Wise a Grammy.
Number 2.
GoldenEye 007. In a time where the only first-person shooters were Doom, Quake, and Wolfenstein, GoldenEye 007 changed the genre forever. Never before have you seen first-person just run so flawlessly. Plus, it didn't hurt that this game was really fun and had a great multiplayer that was made pretty quickly, as I recall. And what's funny is it came out during a time where movie-based games were always horrible, but Rare they outdid themselves and created a game that will go down in history.
Number 1.
Banjo Kazooie. At first, I thought this was some type of Mario 64 clone, but it turned into one of my favorite games on the Nintendo 64. Released in 1998, this bear and bird duo took the system by storm. The collectibles were just so addicting. Gruntilda's rhyming nonsense was hilarious, and its goofy humor was just right on par. 1998 may have been video games' best year, and this is just the icing on the cake. With Yooka-Laylee, which is a spiritual successor to Banjo, it's getting a lot of attention, and I'm sure if Rare focused and created a true sequel, the sky would be the limit. And that's my list of the top 10 Rare games. So what's your list? Did yours make the top? Let me know in the comments. I hope in the future we see some new Rare games hit this list, as they are sitting on a goldmine of IPs. Please like, share, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching another Top 10.